All right, welcome Senior Home Business family. Matt Stafford here in the house talking today about senior placement business, but on this channel, we do various different topics as well, right? And unfortunately, I don't have Brittany with me today. She is right in the middle of a tour just as this meeting is going on. So I told her, go ahead and just do that tour. And it's a great family she's working with. And it's one of the joys of being in this business. We get to help seniors at no cost, no obligation. And students that are out there understand that. Matter of fact, we got one of our newest students getting ready to come on in a few minutes. But today we're going to talk about CBD, the advantages of CBD, maybe some cons of CBD. I want to let you know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not advocating it. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm going to show you a video. The reason how this subject all came up today is there's a video I'm going to show you, a community in my area. Outside, well, not my really area. I live in California now, but where I was born and raised in Virginia Beach, Virginia, in that area, there's a community there that just instituted a program for CBD. So I'm going to show you that video today, get your thoughts on it. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not advocating. I'm not saying don't do it as well, but I want your thoughts on it. Is it something that seniors, should be utilizing? Will it help minimize the intake of other medications that are out there? We're going to go through 10 different advantages of it today. And again, there's some cons of this as well. And we'll get into that maybe a little bit later in this video, or some people will start to come on and start talking about some side effects. I'm sure there's side effects to everything, right? But there's some definite pros to it as well. So let's get into the video before I bring one of my students on. And let's get right into this here so you could see what I'm talking about.
New at 6, the local senior living provider says it's seen groundbreaking results in promoting safe cannabis use for older adults. Photojournalist Jason Walsh spoke with them about it.
I was part of the startup with this program with Dr. Hill. She asked me to serve as her advisor, and we worked together on her studies and then developing our business, Cannability Consulting, which is really addressing the needs of older adults. We saw so many residents, as we are in healthcare, be on psychotropic drugs, and we said, what can we do to help them besides continue to offer pharmaceuticals? With this, we developed Cannability Consultants so we could give an option. So we could give CBD, hemp-derived products, to residents. We saw great results.
We have a couple of very prominent physicians in the region who are on our board of trustees, and we consulted with them, and they agreed that it was a prudent thing to do as long as we measured it and as long as we tracked the outcomes, positive and negative. And so that's how it was born. We have had over 190 participants who we've tracked. North of 96% of them have continued with the product. Only 2% stopped based on cost or some adverse effect or whatever, but none of those were serious or harmful to them.
So we just said, this is so important for us to develop and offer not only to our residents, but others.
I use the products for sleep, just not getting to sleep. And then if I do get to sleep, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, well, I'm actually not taking any Western pharmaceuticals anymore, and I am so much better off.
And we have an obligation to spread the word, because there are a lot of people who are needlessly suffering, whose life situation we can improve.
All right. Well, this program
All right, there you go. That's the video that prompted the topic of this video on my channel today. And I want to bring one of my students on, and maybe Ingar get your input on this. And again, I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer to this question. I mean, we're all going to have our different beliefs. I know I was a youth director for better part of 15 years in Virginia as well as California. I know a lot of people probably in the church, at least where I was from, probably are dead set against it, right? I've noticed when I come out here to California, and that's why I showed this video, because this video is a community in Virginia, but in California, there's a lot more people that are using CBD. Full disclosure, I've actually used some CBD cream before for some joint pain, and I can tell you it worked. It was remarkable. So that was my kind of story. But Ingar, come on in, my man. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you as well. Thanks, Matt. And nothing like just being thrown right into the loop here. But
that's it, buddy. He just signed up a couple of days ago, and now he's on the show. So Ingar, it's him and his wife as a team. So
where would you like me to start, Matt? Would you like me to just give you my opinion, commentary on?
Yeah, right, wrong,
CBD?
and different. Just give me your honest opinion, what you think about it, and what you've heard. Maybe you got some experience.
Yeah,
Let's go and share some ideas.
I mean, I could probably go all over the board on this subject. I have probably a fair amount of experience myself personally, as well as seeing other folks that I know utilizing CBD for a variety of medical conditions, whether it's just to help them sleep or to relax or for pain, joint pain, that sort of thing. I've used it myself, as I mentioned. I felt that it has been effective, and it's something that I've moved away from over the last number of years for whatever reason. But I'm actually, it's funny that you posted, or that we're having this conversation, because I'm actually in the process of reconsidering the use of CBD myself, only for my own joint pain. I've got Lyme's disease, and so I can only see the benefits, given some sort of oversight from a doctor to apply and to utilize this sort of alternative medicine. But I think it would make sense from a senior sort of living community perspective as well. And I'm very much open to the idea of looking at alternatives to, as that gentleman was talking about, Western medicine. So that's my sort of 2 cents, neophyte view on the subject.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Like I said earlier, I've used it just briefly. Actually had my first exposure to it was down in LA. And as we get older, I'm 56 years of age, and man, I used to go to the gym all the time and work out. And I say all the time, 3 or 4 times a week. So maybe that's not all the time. It's not 7 days a week, but still 3 or 4 days a week. And then I noticed about a year ago, I started to develop a lot more joint pains in my shoulders, my knees, and boy, it's just the life in general, right? And that's what our seniors go through. So my first exposure was this when I was down in LA with my wife. There was some drink, and I can't find the drink now for some reason, but there was a drink that had CBD in it. And man, that was incredible. I thought it was going to taste bad. It tasted good. I didn't think it was going to work. I felt like it provided some relief. Maybe that was a psychological thing on my part. I have no idea, but I really thought it worked. But here's an article, and I just pulled up a paragraph of this article, this whole big long thing. But right off WebMD, and it says, about CBD oil, is it safe for seniors? That's what we're focusing on today, right? And it says we need to do more research, but CBD oil seems to be an up and coming treatment solution for the elderly. And it goes on and talks about, CBD and, the plant and significantly higher THC amounts found in marijuana. Some seniors might be prescribed medical marijuana by their doctor, although medical marijuana is not legal in every state, obviously. And some people don't want to experience a high. In this case, CBD is a great alternative because it doesn't provide a high, right? So that's one, and it goes through some benefits, which I'm going to put on the screen in just a second. But so Ingar, so you're thinking about getting back into it. You're thinking about, and was it the kind of the relief of pain is why you're considering it?
Yeah, I would say so. As I mentioned earlier, I've got Lyme's disease, and not too far off from your age, Matt. I'm pretty close in age. We're about the same vintage. And again, just a lot of joint pain constantly, and trying to look to more of those holistic methods and options that are out there, whether it's glucosamine chondroitin and some of these other things that have been around for a while. And like I said, I've seen the results myself. So need to revisit that. And I mean, my own personal testimony, it helped me in the past, using some of these creams and what have you. So again, I mean, if it's working for me and it's clinically safe and it's been around for a long time, I mean, cannabis has been around for a long time, especially the CBD formulation. I can only imagine it would be helpful for seniors that might be dealing with, severe pain or arthritis or rheumatology, or rheumatoid arthritis, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And kind of off the record real quick, if you want information, I mean, I don't know where you are in your Lyme's disease, things like that. The reason it comes to mind is I've got a friend of mine I went to college with. So she's been a friend of mine. Now she still lives in Virginia. I haven't seen her physically in years, but we're Facebook friends, follow each other on Instagram, talk every now and then via message, here and there. So just a wonderful person, but she went through Lyme disease years ago. and there's some different remedies and things like that she would swear by. So I just want to throw that out there if that's something that you would wanted someone else you could talk to about it. But she had a whole big thing where she was just helping a number of people with Lyme's disease. And I don't mean to get into all of it because you know more about it than I will ever know, but just a little bit of information she shared with me was gut wrenching hearing all the stuff that she went through.
That's a good suggestion. I might take you up on that, Matt. It's certainly gotten more pronounced, and this is not about me. I just have a little interest in this, and of course now I'm in this business, so thought it would make sense to listen in and hear what you have to say. But I'm open-minded and certainly would be happy to maybe connect with her if we can do that offline. So thank you.
Absolutely. Let's go through a couple of the. You want to stay on for a few more minutes, Ingar? I know you're
sure.
Yeah? Okay. Well, let's go through some of the advantages of seniors using CBD. And I want to reiterate, I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not promoting it. I'm not discouraging it, but I'm not promoting it as well. I'm not selling it. I'm not, trying to encourage every community out there to do this instead of, any other medication the seniors may have. I was putting a disclaimer out there. This is something that, as Ingar said, it's been around for a long time. And I think it's just now recently starting to get into the senior living communities. And just for conversation, I'd love to know your thoughts about it. If you want to drop a comment down below. If you're following me right now online, you can put a comment. I'll put it on the screen for people to see. But one thing we did talk about, and there's 10 of them that I kind of saw, maybe there's more, but one is pain relief, right? And Ingar mentioned that. I mentioned it as far as that drink I had in LA, and I've used a cream before that my wife put on me, and man, it seemed like it worked. Again, I don't know. I didn't use it long enough to say, oh my gosh, man, I was totally healed. But I just, and again, it could have been psychological, but something worked. So there's some sort of pain relief. They talk about reduced inflammation, as you use CBD. So that's a consideration. And if you have a loved one that's in senior living, and then you're considering maybe going this route, I would encourage you to discuss it, obviously, as a family, and also include your doctor, and make sure, because there's side effects to everything. Again, I'm not a physician, but I know with medication, there's side effects. Those commercials, Ingar, just crack me up, man. Every time I see a drug commercial and there's like 14,000, side effects behind it, and a couple of them are you might die tomorrow, your lung might burst. I mean, right. you might go blind. I don't know. It's just like, my God, just I don't want to take the medicine. So with CBD, I'm sure there's some kind of with that as well. So
Agreed.
Yeah. So all right. So let's get to this here. Improved sleep would be one that they talk about. Ingar, what do you think about that? What do you think about? Did it improve your sleep at all? I mean.
Yeah, the short answer is it has, and I'm not one of these people that is typically a sound sleeper, and that's another reason I'm really reconsidering utilizing CBD again. So for sure, again, my own personal testimony is that it's helped me in the past, and of course, some of my friends and family members that use it for helping in sleep aid, they say it works. So yeah. I don't think, I guess it could be a placebo effect, maybe, but it seems to me there's a lot of empirical evidence that suggests that it would help to improve someone's sleep.
Absolutely. Let's go through a couple other ones here, like support for anxiety and depression. That's one, and I can see that. I don't know. I didn't have any anxiety and depression at the time, or even right now, but at the time I was taking it a few times. But that's what they say too. If your loved one's going through a very anxious moment and depressed, might be a good thing. All right, let's. Hey, Will, you want to come on screen, man? Will popped on. What's up, my man? How you doing? Got your volume going on. We can't hear you, but that's all right. Stay with us. You're dressed much better than I am today. I appreciate that, man. Trying to class up the joint a little bit. Can't hear you. Keep working on the volume, my man. But hey, it's good to have you here. This one here. Say something again, Will.
Yeah, how's that?
There you go. I can hear you now, my man. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Hey, Will just signed up with the Senior Placement Institute. What, about a week ago? I think it was
About a week ago. Yeah.
about a week ago. Okay. And so he's on. And matter of fact, Will's in the same state as I am.
Same what?
Same state.
Are you in Arizona?
Oh, no, you're not. Well, I got a different guy. Oh, man, I literally got another Will that's up in the Sacramento area. I apologize. My Lord.
Age is getting to you, Matt.
That's crazy. Awesome, man. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, and what do you think about this CBD oil and drops?
I have friends that have had, I've never tried it myself. I have friends that have used it for anxiety, for sleeping issues, and where traditional medicine could not help, this has helped.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to say is don't take it with you in your luggage when you go traveling international.
Oh, it might get in trouble. Might get in trouble, right?
You might get in trouble.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, so it's legal in all 50 states, right? Am I correct in saying that?
That's a good question.
I think I did some research on that. Somebody checked me up on that. Don't quote me, but I believe I read that it's legal in all 50 states now. Which it used to be a kind of a Western thing, right? It was kind of a California out this way kind of thing. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, born and raised in Virginia, where in the church primarily, I think this would have been frowned upon then, I know, and probably even a lot now. But out here in California, it's not so much. And I've got a friend of mine I went to school with, and she's in medical. I believe she's a nurse practitioner, and she came out on Facebook about 6 to 8 months ago and was talking about this whole thing. And she knew, because she grew up in the same area I did, and she knew it was going to be controversial with a lot of her friends. And she just flat out said, you know what? I've seen the positive. I've seen the just people getting better. You know, it's improved joint pains, improved sleep. It's improved all these different areas, bone health and everything else. And she just came around and said, you know what? Judge me if you want, but it's something that we need to possibly be looking at, especially. And she wasn't talking about seniors. She was talking about just people in general.
My friend I was referring to earlier had like arthritis, and so it was swollen, very much swollen. And after using this for, I think it was just a couple of weeks, it had improved so much that you couldn't see it. The swollenness had totally disappeared.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and you know, another advantage, they say, again, I don't have any experience in this, but as far as like bone health is concerned, right? They talk about non-psychoactive option. It could be an appetite stimulation. I could see that only because as a teenager, getting into full disclosure here, but you know, in my BC days as a teenager, there were some times where we went out drinking and partying, and there was a few times where we kind of hit the weed, right? So, and that if it's similar to that, then that's going to increase your appetite, right? I don't know. I don't have that much experience.
Guilty as charged there too, Matt.
No, I don't like. As people will see my channel, they'll be like, "Oh my God, you really?"
I think you and I might have traveled in some similar circles, even though we didn't know each other when we were younger.
Right. So it gets that. So appetite stimulation, and you know, we know as seniors that is a big deal. There's a lot. I mean, that's why you have these protein drinks that are out there, and there's sometimes it's hard to come by getting them to eat. And if the CBD might increase their appetite, you know, which is a great thing. You know, sometimes seniors may forget to eat, but they just don't choose not to eat. You know, they get full really quick, and nice kind of things. Or just don't like the food. If I don't like the food, then I don't eat either, which that's me. If I don't like it, I'll just rather drink water or coffee or something and forget about the food. But I don't have that problem at home, you guys. I've got my wife is a borderline chef. She makes it so I got the opposite problem. I got to make sure my stomach doesn't continue going this way. I got to constantly get it going back. So, you know, and it talks about cardiovascular health with CBD. And then finally, it's an alternative to prescription medications. And again, I'm not a doctor, not a nurse. I can't say that. So I can't say on this channel that, hey, this is not a definite alternative to prescription medications. But I know for myself personally, I would be looking at this as an alternative versus some medications. Just what I said earlier about all the side effects that I hear about certain medications that are coming out. I feel probably more confident, just me personally, with CBD oil or drops or cream versus some pill that I'd be taking. I don't know. What do you guys, what's your take on that? Are you with me on that? Or would you be more comfortable with the drugs, the pills that you'd be taking? Because again, that's coming from the doctor. There's obviously a lot of research into those pills. I mean, they just didn't slap it together and throw it out overnight. So what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, the transdermal delivery versus having actually some sort of a pill to consume. I don't know. I would probably lean more towards your position there too, Matt. I've been on a number of medications in my life, and really over the years, I've tried to wean off of a lot of those medications. To your earlier point, all the negative side effects that come along with some of these medications and pharmacological products. It's just a feeling. It's a gut feeling. So there's I can't tell you with certainty that a drop or putting something on my, a cream or a lotion on my joints is better, but there's something that feels better about it. So I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever.
No, absolutely. It does. Again, it could be psychological for me, but I did feel a sense of relief with that drink and with that cream. I know. And again, so my experience is next to nothing. So I don't have too many, times I could tell you, man, I used it for weeks, or I used it consistently for a month. I can't say that. I just used it a couple of times, but I did get some sort of relief. So I'm obviously considering that if I get any more joint pain in my knees, my shoulders, to get my wife definitely to put that cream on, man. Put that cream. If it makes me feel better. It's like, man, my point is this: if it's going to make my joints feel better and make me feel better, it doesn't really matter what people think, right? I don't know. I mean, I was so wrapped up, especially when I was in church early on. I was so wrapped up in having people like me, be pleased with what I say and what I do. The older we get, we kind of just go, you know what? Life's really too short for that. Let me live a life that I want to live. And man, if part of that can be pain-free, abundance of sleep, these different things, I mean, I'm on board for that, and it's legal. I'm on board for that too. I'm not trying to do anything illegal, but I'm on board for that too. So yeah. Well, hey, just since I got you guys on for a few minutes, why don't we talk about the senior placement business? And guys, if you're out there and you're listening to the channel and you want to know more, you can drop down and click a link and schedule a consultation call with myself, or you can watch a podcast. You can do all kinds of things down there. There's a couple of different links, but let's get into it. Do you guys have any specific questions or comments about the senior placement business that you just want to shout out in the airwaves?
Well, this is, I think, literally my, I don't even know, maybe this is my third day, on board, if you will.
And Gar's like, man, I just come on.
I'm probably 35, 40% the way through the Institute. So
that's good. That's a fast pace.
And I've got lots of questions, but I've got about 5 minutes before my next phone call. And actually I'm connecting with Brittany later on today just to run through, a number of questions. So far, it's the curriculum has been really, really informative. There's a lot of information there to have to digest and analyze and download and think through. And it's been good. It's really encouraging. It is really invigorated me with even more energy and optimism that I had before we decided to purchase the program. I purchased the program with my wife, and we, so we're sort of in the drinking from multiple fire hoses stage right now. So I don't want to dominate the conversation with a ton of questions.
That's good. That's good.
Comment, perhaps, if I may. I've been through all of the videos that you have there and just going through them now second time. And I think I texted you that probably the one video that you posted, which was about, you have to have something in your heart that you want to do what is right for people. And And as long as you have that, then you will be successful. And so I found a lot of encouragement in that. So thanks for sharing that. I've had a few leads, and so maybe one question for you is, as a newbie, and just having just a few leads, and I would consider that a success, even though there is no placement yet. What would be your first step? Like, totally green, been through the videos, a few conversations with leads. What would be your next step from here? Where would you go in terms of? So I haven't set up any agreements yet with any assisted livings, and so where would you go?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: where did the leads come from?
Google Ads.
Google Ads. All right, fantastic. So my experience on either Google Ads or anything like that, whether it be a generalized post, they're probably going to be somebody that is in the thought process of going to assisted living. Typically, they're not ready like right now. They're probably ready in 3 months, 6 months, a year, or something like that, which is good too, right? That's fine. So what I would do is work those 2 leads, have the conversation, go through the contact form questionnaires we have in the Senior Placement Institute for you. But also I would focus a lot on and use the strategies of skilled nursing facilities. I know I get a lot of pushback on that because it's hard. It's like, Matt, that's not easy. And I think people over time have probably heard me talk about sniffs so much that they go, oh my gosh, that must be the easy thing to do. And they go in these communities and figuratively, not literally, but figuratively, they get smacked all over the place, and get rejected. And people are like, oh my gosh, I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. I'm telling you, the long game is sniffs and social media. That is the long game. And it sometimes happens right away. For me, it did happen right away. Maybe because I had a buy-in to it. I don't know. Maybe there was a sense of urgency because I needed to make it work. So I tell my students that too, man, be a person that is eager to get out there. You're just, some of it is a numbers game. I get it, but stay true to who you are. Be you. No one else can be you. That's your superpower. But that's the long game. Sniffs and social media. Be consistently contacting SNFs consistently on social media. Now, reason I don't throw hospitals in there as much. Now, there's a weekend strategy. I think I told Ingard this is in the Senior Placement Institute, but there's something you can do with hospitals, but don't try to go to hospitals during the week all the time. You're probably going to face a lot more rejection, even more so than skilled nursing facilities. So what I would do with you, these 2 leads, work them. And I would, have a conversation with them, have some really good questions. You want to listen, be actively involved, attentive to their needs. They're going to give you a lot of hints along the way. People are going to have some resistance, right? A lot of people understand that assisted living, I'm falling off the screen here, assisted living is expensive. No doubt. So I always say that up front. Once I get into hearing their story and get to know more about them, I totally get it. And one thing I will tell you on this channel, when you're in discussion with anyone, whether it's negotiation or just a senior placement business, you always want to agree with the other party. You always want to be in agreement with who they are and what they want to do. It's ultimately their decision, not mine. So when they tell me, hey, I want to move dad in 6 months, I totally get it. Or this time of year, they might say, hey, I want to hold dad home during the holidays and move him in January. I totally get it. You know what? If it was my dad, I want to do the same thing. However, I'll give you a pro tip. When you follow up with this point, you say, you know what? And this is true because I have a lot of stories that will coincide with this. You go, I understand you want to hold dad back for Christmas and he wants to be home with the great grandkids. And then you want to pursue assisted living after the holidays. I totally get it. Something I want to do. I think dad would appreciate that more. Yeah. However, you did tell me, Bill, that you work still 9 to 5 and your wife is out of town a lot on work and there's no one home during a certain amount of time during the week with dad. So what we need to do, if we're going to delay the assisted living situation until the first of the year, we need to come up with a plan B of what happens when dad what you mentioned earlier, he falls a couple times a week. So what happens when he falls and no one's there? We need to come up with a contingency plan. What happens when dad leaves the stove on? What happens when dad needs this? Oh my gosh. Okay. So in the midst of you coming up with that plan, then I usually segue into some stories that are legit, that people told me that same story, kept their loved one home. Their loved one ended up falling, went to the hospital, and spent Christmas in skilled nursing versus being in assisted living and actually could go home for a few days and, be with their family. So I tell that kind of story, but that's what I would do. I definitely would just use these 2 leads you have as a launching pad for your business, meaning that you are, you're juiced, you're excited to get to help someone, whether they are a $1,200 client or a $6,600 client. I treat them all the same, and continue to have that heart of being an advocate for seniors, and work those leads and begin to develop rapport with those families. But yeah, that's exactly what I would do, and then hit those 2 areas. Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
You bet, my man. You bet, man. So Arizona, man, I love
Good
it.
place.
Love it. I'm going to ask you a question about the weather there. Is it cold there right now, or are you still hot?
It's relative. I mean, at night it's cold. It's cold, and in the daytime it's probably okay. What is it today? About 70, something like that.
Nice.
But it feels still cold. It feels cold, probably because it's desert.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out what's going to be like. And my wife and I are going to Vegas, and not this weekend, weekend after next.
Probably the same.
Probably the same.
I would think. Yeah, I think what I've heard is that Las Vegas is slightly colder in the summertime. I don't know how it is in the winter. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Well, Will, I appreciate you joining with us, my man, and joining. And guys want to know more about CBD. I would encourage you again. I'm not a doctor or nurse, like I said 3 times already. So I'm making that abundantly clear. Please do your research on it. Definitely talk to your primary care physician about it. Make sure you know what you're getting involved in. But how this video came about is because I saw that other video about a community in my area back in Virginia that is promoting it. So it's something, if one community is going to promote it, it's probably going to be 2 or 3 in the area. And then pretty soon it's going to go from Virginia to a next state. And, you have to be able to make a decision now. Be prepared. So, and if you want to be prepared and starting a business at home and you want to know more about the senior placement business, again, you can click the link down below and schedule a consultation call with us. We would love to talk with you. But until next time, God bless. Thanks, Will. Hey, thanks for joining us today, my friend.
Thank you. Take care. Cheers.
Have a good day.